Greetings humans, and welcome back to another video. Once again, apologies for the really long break between videos. This mystery virus just isn't going away, so I'm a bit all over the place in terms of actually having the energy to sit up and do videos. However, today we've got a tiny amount of sunshine outside, although it looks like it's about to pour it down. But the sun is currently shining and I'm feeling great, and more to the point, I am really excited to show you guys this. So, as you can see from up there, this is the Pokemon Cross-Stitch book. Slightly interesting one in that it's not supposed to be here until the 18th of July. But I ordered it and it arrived early, and I am not going to complain because I'm really excited about this. So I guess in a second, let's get into it. But first, remember to drink. It may not be sunny for long, but we do need to hydrate. And yeah. Look at it! I'm very excited about this. It's published by David and Charles. They do a lot of various crafty books. Several of the ones I've talked about on here already are David and Charles ones, including the Crochet You book, which is still one of my favourite crochet books. So before you get into the actual patterns, you've got several pages of just kind of general instructions on how to do everything, finishing and framing. And then we get into our first actual pattern, which is for Mew. This pattern's 80 stitches by 80 stitches and uses 8 colours. It is absolutely adorable. I'm showing you the stuff this way because then you can't see the patterns, just what the end result should look like. Because if I'm showing you the actual book, you will see the actual patterns. I like as well, this also gives you the type, weight and height of each Pokemon, and a little bit of information about it. When viewed through when viewed through a microscope, this Pokemon's short, fine, delicate hair can be seen. You can launch powerful moves such as Ancient Power, Amnesia, and Aura Sphere. Our next one, we go on to Pikachu and Eevee, and they are absolutely adorable together. This one's 120 by 80 stitches and uses 10 different colours, but I'm fairly sure at least one of those colours, actually on this one all the colours are used. On some of the patterns the colour count is slightly off in that some of the colours are only used for a couple of lines of backstitch, but this one isn't one of them. But that one's cute, and it should be relatively easy to do. I've just realised it doesn't say throughout, but on the contents page they've all got different numbers of Pokeballs to say how easy they are. And yeah, that one's down as an easy one. It uses a couple of like 3/4 stitches and quarter stitches and that, which I will need to look up to remind myself how to do. But it shouldn't be too challenging. Moving on, we've got Eevee, who's an 80 by 80 stitch again, and only uses 5 colours, which is far easier in terms of actually being able to buy the actual colours, because if you're like me and like a lot of crafts, it gets expensive, so you're basically permanently broke, and having to buy a load of colours for one pattern can be a little prohibitive. But Eevee is probably the most versatile Pokemon out there just because of how many different evolutions there are. Slightly disappointed there wasn't a new evolution in Scarlet Violet. I was hoping for that, but hey. Moving on, we've got Dragonite, who I have previously made a crochet version of for my mini cousin, which was slightly awkward to do in this I didn't have a pattern, but was worth it. Again, 80 by 80 stitches, and only uses 5 colours, which is wonderfully convenient. Now we come on to Bulbasaur, Charmander and Squirtle, who are 110 by 70 stitches and use 16 colours. But I do like this just because they all look so happy together. I love them as starters. They're just adorable. I mean, let's be honest, most Pokemon are. But hey. Moving on, we've got Gengar, another 80 by 80 stitch Pokemon. He's, again, really cute. 7 colours, which I will admit slightly surprised me at first, seeing as he is almost entirely purple. But hey, you know, not the end of the world. We've got Jigglypuff, who is one of the cutest Pokemon in existence. I quite like here the introduction or information about Jigglypuff. Jigglypuff has a top-notch lung capacity, even by comparison to other Pokemon. By freely changing the wavelength of its voice, Jigglypuff sings a mysterious melody sure to make any listener sleepy. Not gonna lie, I could do with that in the summer, because with the amount of light we get at night, not always easy to sleep. So, you know, pet Jigglypuff wouldn't go amiss. We've got, again, 80 by 80 stitches and only 7 colours for the actual stitching. Moving on to Magikarp. I will admit I'm not overly keen on Magikarp, but that's mostly because I am absolutely terrified of fish or anything vaguely fish related. That's one of those ones that's probably easiest not to question too much. But again, 80 by 80 stitches and 9 colours here, with a fair bit of backstitch. Moving on to one of my favourite patterns in here, we've got Psyduck, which is, again, 80 by 80 stitches and only uses 4 colours of thread. And I do like it on the blue background. It's not necessarily, but, you know, it's cute. This Pokemon is constantly beset by headaches. As Psyduck gets stressed out, its headache gets progressively worse. It chooses intense psychic energy to overwhelm those around it. Sometimes I identify quite strongly with Psyduck. When I get stressed out, headaches are a thing. Moving on to Slowpoke, who is somewhat frustrated, or frustrating to play with. Doesn't tend to be one I put on my team, although my little sister has had Slowpoke on her team and eventually she managed to get him working. Slow-witted and oblivious, Slowpoke won't feel any pain if its tail gets eaten. It won't notice when its tail grows back either. In some ways, Slowpoke sounds very similar to my cat, who is also oblivious and also probably wouldn't notice if his tail was eaten. But we're not going to test the theory. Now, I think this is my full favourite project in this, with Pikachu and Piplup, mostly because Piplup is one of my all-time favourite Pokemon. But either way, this one's another 80 by 80 with 9 colours. It's actually surprising that we only need 9 colours for a design with this much colour in it, but I'm not going to complain. It's an absolutely adorable pattern. And apparently Piplup's difficult to bond with since it won't listen to its trainer. I didn't have that issue with him, but maybe I was being too adoring to notice issues, which isn't beyond the realms of possibility at all. Next we come to Pikachu and Scorbunny, who are another pair that I absolutely love. I made a crochet squirrel bunny for a friend. Again, had no pattern for it, but the look on his face when he got it was absolutely worth it, and is probably one of my favourite crochet projects to date. This guy is another 80 by 80 stitch project and has 11 colours in total, and looks like it should be fairly simple. Now I've got Mewtwo, who I've just realised is taller than me, which is somewhat terrifying. 6'7". It's taller than my tall friends. Yeah, that's scary. I wouldn't want to attempt to fight against a Mewtwo. But it does only require 6 colours and is on 80 by 80 stitches again, so it's convenient, if terrifying. We now come on to Riolu and Lucario, who again are on an 80 by 80 grid and need 9 colours. I absolutely love these both because they are adorable, and because, you know, they are loving. They are loving animals who want to be friends with you, and I think that's adorable. I do like the description they've got here for Riolu. You know, he's exceedingly energetic with enough stamina to keep running all through the night. Same. Now, this next one, I hope you will find as amusing as me, with Pikachu and Cramorant. Poor Pikachu. This one's 80 by 130 stitches and requires 10 colours. And I just like how put out the other one, Pikachu, seems. Just this little grumpy face. I think I need to stitch this. I don't know what I'll do with the finished projects, but it deserves stitching. If I can, it will straight up go in the living room, because I think that's amazing. We now get to Galarian Ponyta and Galarian Rapidash. Somewhere. Yeah, I can't see it immediately or I'd pick it up, but I do have a plushie of Galarian Ponyta, which I got at Pokemon Worlds back in London last August, who's adorable. That's just an aside because I think he's cute. She's cute and I want to say about it. Ponyta will look into your eyes and read the contents of your heart. Rapidash, brave and prideful, dashes airily through the forest, its steps aided by the psychic powers stored in the fur on its fetlocks. Whoever wrote this, I don't know if Maria Diaz wrote the descriptions or if the descriptions are taken from actual Pokemon information, but they're a good writer. I do like these descriptions. Yeah, and we've got 110 by 110 and 6 colours used for this. I can't remember if I've already said that or not, so I'll say it again just in case. We now have the slightly evolved version of earlier, with Ivysaur, Charmeleon and Wartortle. I always forget the middle evolutions exist of these guys. I'm very good with the first 3. I'm very good with the final 3. I always forget the middle 3 exist, because they weird me out a bit. I like them, but actually I think, what's his name? Ivysaur is probably my favourite of the Bulbasaur line. But I just always forget these guys exist. And yeah, these guys are 160 by 110 stitches and use a whopping 20 colours of thread. We now evolve once more to Venusaur, Charizard and Blastoise, all 3 of whom I wouldn't want to get into a fight with, and apparently all 3 of whom are taller than me. 5'3", being Blastoise. This Blastoise crushes its foe under its heavy body to cause fainting. That's just cruel. But 150 by 90 stitches with only 18 colours this time. And I do like the way they're posed. It is a nice pose they've got there. We're on to, I want to say Plusle and Minun, but I might be wrong on how you pronounce that, so feel free to yell at me in the comments if I have. However, Plusle always acts like a cheerleader for its partners. This Pokemon shorts out its body to create a crackling noise of sparks to show its joy. Minun is more concerned about cheering on its partners than its own safety. I just love that, like two mini guys happily living their lives, happily cheering everyone on, and forgetting that they're actually supposed to be battling. I think that's adorable. Just happy, overexcited Pokemon. Here we have Pikachu, Raichu and Pichu. I can't remember if I told you the actual information about the last one. So quickly, that was 110 by 110 and 7 colours. Apologies if I had told you that. Now back to our Pikachu line with 110 by 110 stitches, 13 colours used, and just an adorable little stitch. Just all of those together are adorable. Now we're coming on to a slightly interesting bit in that the rest of these only have the picture of the pattern. They don't have like the finished project pictures to go with it. So I'm just going to let you look at these background images of all the ones that we've seen already, and I'm just going to tell you which other patterns are in here. So we've got Squirtle for an 80 by 80, Wartortle 80 by 80, Blastoise, Bulbasaur, Ivysaur, Charizard. Assume all of these are 80 by 80 unless I tell you otherwise. Charmander, Charmeleon, Meowth, Lapras, Cubone, Flareon, Pikachu and Grookey, which is 105 by 80, and I love Grookey because Pokemon Sword was the first game I played, and Grookey was my starter, and I love him dearly, and absolutely adorable. I love how utterly cute Grookey is. So, favourite. We've now got Sobble and Pikachu, which is another 100 by 81. Back to 80 by 80 for Riolu, Pichu, Bobuffet. I feel like I said that wrong. Glaceon, Leafeon, Jolteon, Espeon and Umbreon in a stitch together with 100 by 80 count thing grid. I do like those two as a pair. Back to 80 by 80 for Espeon, Vaporeon, just read the information there on Vaporeon. When Vaporeon's fins begin to vibrate, it's a sign that rain will come within a few hours. Its body's cellular structure is similar to the molecular composition of water. It can melt invisibly in water. Which does make me wonder, can Vaporeon do what cats do of just kind of fitting themselves into any object? Because now I do believe that Vaporeon may match the if I fit, I fits. However, moving on, we've got Umbreon and Sylveon, a bigger 110 by 110 for Munchlax and Snorlax. Back to 80 by 80, we've got Venusaur, Lucario. We've now got another 110 by 110 with Growlithe and Arcanine, which is a cool combination. And I love them both. 80 by 80, we've got Rubuffet and Meowth. I still feel like I'm saying that wrong, so do let me know. 110 by 110 for Vulpix and Ninetales. Vulpix is another one I love, even though I really struggled to catch one. First game I played, I spent ages trying to catch one and got frustrated and quit the game for a week after I failed. Anyway, moving on, we've got Leafeon, Glaceon and Sylveon, which is 160 by 110 pattern. Back to 80 by 80 for the final two patterns of Pikachu and Raichu. So that was all of the patterns in the book, which is just over 50 patterns, I believe. It also at the back has a threads conversion table, which will convert DMC threads to anchor threads. So if you have a preferred brand, both are available. I love this. I think it's brilliant, and I am really pleased that I got it. I think the other fun bit to note is that there isn't any reason you couldn't use these as a grid for corner to corner crochet or colourwork crochet. I've used cross stitch patterns before to make crochet blankets, so you'd have an annoying amount of ends to weave in, which may be prohibitive to some, but you would also have a really cute project, and it would probably make a decent blanket. You know, who wouldn't want one of those as a blanket? So yeah, let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I just realised we can switch back to this screen now. You know, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Tell me all about it. Who's your favourite Pokemon? Which one would you stitch first? Are there any that you'd like to stitch, but you look at it and you go, oh, that looks hard, and won't stitch? It's also worth noting, I don't have it open, but I do believe when the book's actually released, there is also a kit released. In fact, I've got it here. I can look it up. But I believe that there will be... One sec. I can't talk and type. Yeah. When this all releases, the cross-stitch kit, according to Amazon, will be released on November the 7th, 2023. And that will come with the patterns, definitely for the Piplup and Pikachu and the Eevee one. Okay, that's not going to focus. But that will come with all the thread and stuff as well. I don't know if it will... Whoopsie. Okay, it looks like it's got the actual stuff you need for those two, but it's got 16 other patterns in there, which is quite cool. And I can actually check on here now. The release date for this is the 18th of July, so, you know, it's the 5th now. So consider that to be a sneak peek of what you can get. And if you hadn't seen this before, consider getting it. You know, I think it will be very, very worth it. As always, it's a beautifully laid out book. Whoever did just like the little bits of background behind each pattern, you know, it's beautifully laid out. It's really good. All of their books always are. But yeah, I would strongly recommend. And if you don't get any videos for the next 3 months, it's not because I'm sick anymore, it's going to be because I'm busy doing these. So, see you next time. Hope you're all doing well. Hope everyone's staying, you know, relatively healthy and relatively hydrated in this hot weather. As always, remember to drink. And see you next time.